Hey, what's up team? Welcome in. So you know me, I was scrolling around for Elden Ring articles and I found this. From Software's Miyazaki says he's still in the process of making my ideal fantasy RPG, while Elden Ring is not quite it. It's getting close, and there's an article, so let's take a look at that. So we dig in there and he says, before he owned video games growing up, From Software president Miyazaki loved tabletop RPGs and their source books full of quests and monsters. It's not hard to see that passion reflected in many of the games he's designed at From Software, but Elden Ring particularly so. Its sprawling map echoes the kinds of love to pour over and draw myself as a kid. From Lord of the Rings Middle-earth to Warcraft's Azeroth, Elden Ring also seems to directly connect back to the RPGs of the 80s with its skeleton-filled catacombs, like tabletop-style dungeons ripped straight from the pages of a D&D campaign. You might say that I was trying to capture the excitement of those old tabletop games, and game books was one facet of making Elden Ring, Miyazaki told me in a recent interview for the expansion of Shadow of the Erdtree. I asked if he saw Elden Ring as an intentional extension of the 80s dungeon crawlers, the kinds of games that encouraged, if not demanded, players draw physical maps to chart their way. Despite being From Software's most approachable RPG, Elden Ring is still light on the kinds of helpful features that many modern players expect, like a quest log, but Miyazaki has more or less built his and the studio's reputation on not doing that. I think more than anything, it's just my personal preference when it comes to RPGs and exploring those fantasy worlds. So you might see some of my personal idiosyncrasies that come from playing Elden Ring there. I think that excitement, for me at least, comes from seeing that world map and piercing together through that world map. So when we finally got to do that and started piercing that together when making Elden Ring, that was a really nice moment for me personally. Back when doing interviews about Elden Ring, I think mentioning that I'm still in the process of making my ideal fantasy RPG. And while Elden Ring is not quite it, it's getting pretty close, it's getting close. That was too tempting a thread not to pull on, so of course I had to ask what was missing from his ideal RPG. Miyazaki laughed while answering, "It's hard to say without giving any spoilers for my next idea or our next games, but I think one thing that's not necessarily missing, what makes it difficult to achieve my idea, is that when I play it, I know everything that's going to happen. I already know everything that's going on, so in terms of enjoying the game from a player's perspective, I'd love to not know that and for somebody else to make my ideal fantasy game, please, if possible. Then I can enjoy it just as a player. I threw out the possibility of a short-term amnesia with the quick case of forgetfulness could allow Miyazaki to enjoy one of his own games as more of a player. That'd be the dream," he joked, "a self-induced amnesia and enjoy the game I created myself, but I might get really angry and break the controller or something. Maybe that's not a good idea." So this is a really good, interesting article about where he came to and where he's going with Miyazaki and his plans for Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, and such like that. So I'll link both of these things below. There's lots of comments on this Twitter thread, and then so you guys can take a look at the article. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. We're getting close to Miyazaki's ultimate vision. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.